Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. It's the big one of the weekend, the biggest game of the weekend in the Premier League. It's Chelsea entertaining Arsenal in a top of the table clash. Hope you're all doing very well. We have got the reaction to the big games that have just happened at 2 o'clock as well. Liverpool winning against West Ham, Villa beating Wolves, and Brighton winning at Forest. Quite an unexpected result from Brighton, who don't normally do that well on the road. So very good result for them. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. A bit of a strange Sunday so far. We've not really had some real shocks yesterday, didn't we? I mean, Newcastle winning at Everton and Fulham winning at Spurs. But, I suppose Man United winning against Palace is a bit of a shock. Even as a United fan, I would say I was a bit surprised by that. But Liverpool winning against West Ham as well keeps the pressure off Amorim, keeps the pressure off Slot. Brighton winning away as well, and Villa beating Wolves as probably expected. Paqueta must have had a bet on himself getting a red today. Wouldn't trust him if I was a West Ham fan. Yeah, Robbo, I'd need to see a little bit more. I mean, I didn't have the sound on, so I was just doing a little bit of work after the United game, and I had the Liverpool game on, and I was just sort of keeping an eye on it, and then I saw the second yellow. I believe it was the second yellow, and look, I don't know the context of it, but the way he was going back and forth, I mean, it was like he was chasing the yellow card. I thought I tweeted about it because I thought he'd had the 2 yellows for the same incident. However, I think that he'd already had a yellow card before. And it was like he was chasing the yellow card because there's one point where Alisson's moving him away and he still comes back in. And I think all over a very irrelevant little yellow card, a free kick on Szoboszlai as well. So, look, it's horrible to think that if you're a West Ham fan. However, it was dubious, it was. And that's it. Lee Berman says, the missus is trying to make me do the tree while the game is on. This is why I did most of it in the week, mate. Exactly. But I'm hoping I might have my tree up for the United Stand show at 8 o'clock. Normally goes in this space here. So hopefully on the 8 o'clock show, that'll happen. We are sponsored by Manscaped. This is a fantastic deal. Link is in the description. 25% off before December the 4th. So the lawnmower, there it is in all its glory. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Whether you want to get it for yourself or a gift for somebody, you can get a huge 25% off and delivered to your door with all Manscaped products by using the link in the description or scanning the QR code. You get 25% off with the code FOOTY exclusively to you on That's Football. But use it by December the 4th. You can use it after December the 4th, but that code drops down to a 15% code. So check that one out. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at the... Well, I want to just very, very quickly, we will come back to that, but I just very, very quickly want to just sort of go through the lineups for the big game of the day. We will talk about Liverpool and the league table and Manchester United and all that jazz. Just in relation to the Bundesliga, Stuttgart are still 1-1 with Hamburg, if you know, you know. However, the Chelsea-Arsenal lineup, which I'm about to push on your screen as well, that's the Chelsea side. So, look, can Chelsea get this job done today? Sanchez, Gusto, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, James, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Esteban, Neto, and Pedro. Great to see Esteban starting. Cole Palmer is fit enough to be on the bench, but not fit enough to start. Can Chelsea do something? How good is this Arsenal side? I think this is the ultimate test. Chelsea are doing well. But Arsenal, no Gyökeres in the starting lineup. It's Raya, Timber, Mascara, Hincapié, Calafiore, Eze, Zubimendi, Rice, and then Saka, Moreno, Martinelli. On the bench, we do have Gyökeres, we have Odegaard, Jesus, Ben White, Norgard, Madueke, Wanyeri, but no Saliba. And that, is this an opportunity for Chelsea with Saliba injured and Gabriel injured? This is exactly why Arsenal's summer transfer window was so good. They've had a lot of injuries. I was speaking to an Arsenal fan in the week. It wasn't Robbie. And I said, you know what? Last season, you wouldn't be in a title race. You wouldn't be in a title race last season because if you look at the injuries, Saliba, Gabriel, Odegaard, Saka, they've had other Havertz. those injuries last season would have really hurt them. But because they've spent so well on a squad, I don't think it's hurting them as much as it would have done last season. Totally Alfie with a super chat says Chelsea could make a big statement today if they win. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we, what happens with that. Score prediction, I've gone with an Arsenal win. Yeah, I've gone with an Arsenal win because they... well, I want to have a quick look at the league table, actually. That's a perfect segue in. If you look at the league table at the moment in relation to the top, and don't be surprised to see where Man United are, we're in 7th place. How are we in 7th place when we were 6th? Oh, Brighton. Brighton. I mean, it's tight. That is tight. It's tighter than an... no, I can't say nuns. Tighter than a worm's chuff, that is, isn't it? It's very tight. And look, Liverpool, Palace, even though they lost to Manchester United, they're only a point behind. Brentford in 10th. It's really congested up there. Villa are in 3rd now. Chelsea down to 4th with Man City and Villa winning. So, yeah, very, very, very congested up there. But look, if Chelsea were to win, they go into 2nd place, 3 points off the top. If Arsenal win, they retain 1st place with a 7-point lead over Arsenal and what would be a 9-point lead over Chelsea. That's very, very commanding. Very, very commanding indeed. So, look, maybe a draw is the... I do feel that the draw is the, logical one. And, maybe the Saliba thing does change the story slightly. I would agree with that. However, I just think Arsenal was so good against Bayern Munich. And I really do hope that we can go on and get a good game out of this one. Chelsea, Arsenal over the years at Stamford Bridge, there has been a few good games. Didn't Essien score a banger in this game years ago as well? But this is the big one. Let me know your thoughts, and hopefully we get a really good game, like I say. Obviously, there has been other results going on today. Liverpool's win suddenly I think the thing about this league this season is that because it's so tight, you can be Man United. We lose to Everton. It's the end of the world. We're losing to Palace at half-time and we're down in 13th. You win the second half and you're up to 7th. And Liverpool have had an incredibly bad run. They beat West Ham. They're in 8th place, okay, but they're only 4 points off second. Man City have already lost 4 games. So Arsenal are the club at the moment to beat, without a doubt. But away from that, nobody's really grabbing the moment at the moment. And I think it's going to be an interesting few weeks between now and the end of the season. I mean, I think Palace are a fantastic side. However, lovely goal by Isak. I didn't see the Isak goal. I mean, for Liverpool, that's a lovely finish by Isak, isn't it? It's a lovely finish by Isak. I think for Liverpool, that's a very big result for them. Isak scoring as well. West Ham away. It's the sort of game that you could lose that game like Man United did last season and say goodbye to your manager. Clean sheet. Salah didn't start. Isak scored. Good 3 points. Can they build on that now? Brighton's results amazing though. 5th place for Brighton, and you've got to applaud it. We applaud. I mean, Sunderland yesterday. That was magical. What a result by Sunderland that is. And there are some. We've got midweek games. I think the Premier League at the moment, because it's so interesting. The midweek games are making it fantastic. And Villa. I think the teams of the week for me are Villa, Brighton, and Sunderland. Keeping themselves in the mix is incredible with regards to the Premier League and what it is at the moment. And talking about the Premier League fixtures this week, by the way, again, because it's so congested, there are so many if, buts and maybes about what's going to happen next. I mean, just looking at the next... Fulham Man City on Tuesday night could be interesting. Newcastle Spurs on Tuesday night will be very interesting in relation to Newcastle are trying to get back into things now, aren't they? I mean, look at the bottom half of the table. Newcastle right at the top there. If they could win, they'd go to 21 points. Spurs, all sorts of trouble for them. They need that game as well. And then Wednesday, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa. You know, what's that? 5th against 3rd. Brighton at Villa at Brighton. That'll be a big, interesting game. Wolves, Forest. You know, can Wolves start to get any sort of results? Leeds, Chelsea, Liverpool, Sunderland. I mean, you'd expect Liverpool to win that, but Sunderland could cause teams problems. So Villa, Arsenal on Saturday as well. That's a tough game. If Villa have lost at Brighton, they'd need something from that. It just doesn't stop. It's relentless and it's interesting, and I'm very much enjoying it. Very much enjoying it. I want a bit of a title race though. As much as I've gone with an Arsenal win, I think a draw would be good. I don't think I can say a Chelsea win because I don't like Garnacho, but Atleticos says, I swear Villa play Brighton every month. Every week there are critical 4 to 5 games now, says Rob. Yeah, well, look, you lose and you drop, you win and you climb. And until that's because nobody's able to be consistent. You know, Villa had a terrible start to the season. They're now into 3rd. Apart from Arsenal, everybody's capable of losing games, aren't they? Chelsea could make a big statement today. Thank you very much, Totally Alfie. I read that one. And Robbo said Paqueta must be on bet himself, getting that red card today. Score prediction for Chelsea versus Arsenal. I'm going to drop a little bit of a poll in here. Please do share the video just while I'm doing this. By the way, thank you for everyone who gets involved with That's Football. And please do subscribe. So let's go Chelsea win. Draw and Arsenal win. I've gone with an Arsenal win. I did it on win, lose or draw. I've got a bonus win, lose or draw coming out tomorrow, by the way. We'll get that out for you tomorrow morning ahead of the Premier League predictions for the weekend. But I'm doing all right at the moment, but you'll have to see what the results are tomorrow. Hope Chelsea do some justice to the title race. Look, I want Arsenal to win the league comparable to the Liverpool's, Manchester City's, and now the Chelsea's of this world because I don't like Garnacho. But I do want a title race. I think it's good for the league and it's good, you know, for entertainment purposes. So I do want a title race. I feel that Chelsea are capable of getting a result. But as Eric says, a draw for Arsenal might not be a terrible result either. Yeah, I mean, I think the value is in the draw. As I said, I was just so impressed with Arsenal against Bayern Munich, and I think every challenge they've faced this season has been met with such gusto that I do think that they'll probably win this. I mean, even the Liverpool away where they lost, I thought they played very well. I think Szoboszlai scored an absolute worldie. So they'll be playing with a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence, and I think that could be the issue. Can you shout out my mum's chuff, says Blaze? Well, inadvertently, that has just happened now, for the good or for the bad. Thank you, everybody. Please do smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes before we start. We've got 46% of you going with an Arsenal win, 16% going with a draw, and 38% going with a Chelsea win at the moment. So thank you very much for that. I agree with you. I want Arsenal to win to give City a run for their money, says Johan. I mean, City could come back into it now. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a fortunate last-minute win against Leeds. I think ultimately a win's a win, and they got it. However, if Chelsea could get something here today, I think that really does, open up the opportunity, I suppose, with regards to, are they really title contenders? We're about to find out. But I think when you've got people like Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Reece James, they're very competitive. It can get very intense in that midfield. I think sometimes they struggle for goals. Esteval's going to give you that flair. Defensively, they've been pretty good this season. And I suppose set pieces becomes a big part of it as well, doesn't it? Anyway. Before we get on with the show, though, let's remind ourselves that we are sponsored by Manscaped on the stream today, the global leaders in men's lifestyle and grooming, trusted by over 13 million men worldwide, apparently, who trust Manscaped, and head to manscaped.com to check out all the things they've got. Obviously, the leader of their pack is the Lawnmower 5.0. Works down there. Precision engineering for your family jewels. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. But the big story here is that they have got a wider range of male grooming stuff, whether it's beard trimmers, nose trimmers, knob trimmers. You can scan the QR code or you can go through the link in the description and get these items delivered to your door. But the big play today is the exclusive code FOOTY, which will give you 25% off until December the 4th. After that, you can still use the code and get 15%, but for the next few days, December the 4th, it's 25% off. So if you're looking for somebody to get a present, maybe you're fed up of your partner having a bushy bit, then you could get this for 25% off and still have a little bit in your pocket yourself. So check it out, link in the description or scan the QR code, 25% off with the code FOOTY. Manscaped, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. There we go. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Right, I'm coming back to the chat. Let's get that rolling round so people can see the team as it goes around the screen. Just keeping an eye on that. Hamburg have just had a man sent off, but it looks like they're going to get a point against Stuttgart. Celtic beat Hibs. Good result for them. I think Celtic will win the league. I don't think Hearts are going to be able to hang on. This smells like a Chelsea win from an Arsenal fan. Says it's me, Zitten. And do you think Thomas Frank is going to get the sack? Because I think he is, says Frankie. Look, I didn't do any watch-alongs yesterday because I just couldn't be bothered and had other things going on. But obviously I kept abreast of the results. I thought the Everton result was incredible, considering I actually thought Everton played well against United. To get done so comprehensively at home by Newcastle was a bit of a shock, and fair play to them. Spurs losing at home probably wasn't as surprising, and I don't know how you solve the Tottenham problem, because last season they lost over 20 games with Ange in charge. Now with Thomas Frank, they're losing at home on the regular. I think it's, I call Man United Light Switch FC because, first half today, the lights are off. Second half, the lights come on. I don't even think Spurs are Light Switch FC anymore. I think they used to be. I think Spurs are far worse than that. I don't think you could look, it's an insult to say you're a light switch team and you never know whether the lights are on or on. But I don't think with Spurs, I think you can say that the lights are permanently off at home. They're not even light switch. So, I think Spurs have got big problems again. And it's an identity thing with Spurs, that they just have this license to not turn up, which is shocking, really, when you look at the club they want to be. Harry Kane's been a big loss for them. Harry Kane is a, incredible player, and I think Spurs with Harry Kane, he probably carried them to levels that they're just not capable of hitting, if I'm being completely honest. But as I said, I think the big teams of the week are Brighton, Villa, and Sunderland to be right up there as we approach, Christmas. I think they're doing really well. I mean, maybe it's not as much as a surprise with Aston Villa, but I certainly think Brighton are. I've consistently said I think that their manager isn't getting the best out of the quality that they have, but fair he is at the moment. I mean, I'm just looking at the lineup that they put out, and Baleba wasn't even a starter this week. He came on for the last 6 minutes. So always good players in a Brighton's. I mean, Brighton played very well against Manchester United. They played very well against Manchester United. We just got the goals at the right times. But that's a very impressive win to go to Forest, who've sort of turned a corner under Sean Dyche and winning. So very, very good. What do you expect of the Mosquera-Hincapié partnerships as Rex? Well, I believe it's their first start together in an Arsenal shirt, in arguably Arsenal's most difficult game of the season. Obviously, the Chelsea front three, Estevao and João Pedro Neto. I'm quite glad that João Pedro is playing, because I think that gives Chelsea a focal point, which I think you need to have. I do think you need to have that in a game like this against a team like Arsenal. I think you've got to have an outlet ball, and especially when they've got two relatively inexperienced centre-backs in an Arsenal shirt, you do want to put yourself in a position where you're capable of asking questions of that defence. as I say, I think Arsenal will win it, but I do think it's open season for Chelsea if they can play the perfect game. And they do have Cole Palmer that is capable of coming on and making changes as well. Arsenal have got players like that too. But look, Eze's playing fantastically well at the moment. Declan Rice is playing fantastically at the moment. They've got Saka, Timber. They've still got players that are going to, cause problems. Please do share the video if you're watching. We're closing in on 10,000 watching. Delap or João Pedro, says how. Yeah, definitely João Pedro at the moment. I mean, I'm not here to... Liam Delap was sought after by a lot of clubs, including Manchester United. I don't think he's... and I think at £30 million, the value in doing that deal was very obvious for many clubs. I don't think he's ready at the moment, though. I think there's certainly a petulance to him, and I also think that it's challenging to establish yourself when you've been playing for Ipswich. But look, he's a good player, and I'm sure he's part of Chelsea's future plans. But João Pedro's a player that I think just offers you more in the now, a bit more mobility, a bit more flair, and I think it's the right selection call by Maresca to go down that route. But they've got to try and utilise the opportunity that's in front of them, i.e. home crowd, buzz around the place. Can you be title contenders? They said, can we? Can you be title? Definitely not we with Chelsea. Can you be title contenders? Yeah. So interesting stuff, certainly. Yeah, we've covered the other games. Good result for Arsenal, as I said. Sorry, not good result. Good result for Liverpool. I've got Arne Slot on my screen here. I was just looking at that. Good result for Liverpool. They needed that. Good result for Man United. They needed that. Takes the pressure off. As I said on the video yesterday, I do think that if Arne Slot had lost today or Amorim had lost today, I think there would have been a huge pile-on from fans, but also mainly the media, to suggest there should be a change. That just takes the pressure off a little bit now, and both at home in midweek, it might buy them some time. So, yeah, big results for them. What do you expect? I've done that one as well. Cole Palmer's been out for a long time, Sam. I mean, expecting him to come on, I'm sure he will. However, it's a long time out, and it's a big game. So, it's a great player to bring on. We're only 4 minutes away from the start now. Players are coming out. I like this, though. I mean, I've got to be honest. When I think about Chelsea versus Arsenal at Stamford Bridge, I don't know whether I'm right in saying this, but I feel it's always a half past 4 game on a Sunday under the lights in the run-up to Christmas. And I think we're going to get that here. Anthony Taylor as the ref is terrible news, by the way. I don't know why people didn't tell me about that. I think that is an absolutely horrific appointment. Let's hope that's not going to make a big impact. He has had this fixture and ruined it on more than one occasion, so be very wary of that. I don't think it's been a really bad weekend for officiating. I think it's been a quiet weekend for the PGMOL, but it's not over yet. Whose attack is better in your opinion, says Who to Blame? Arsenal is more established. Yeah, I think with Saka, that makes the difference. I think he's the more established attacker. But Chelsea's is prospect, isn't it? Chelsea's is potential. Certainly. Good question. Who to blame? Thank you. All right, I'm going to close off the prediction poll now, but 48% of you going with an Arsenal win, 16% going with a draw, and 39% going with Chelsea winning. I think that's an incredible compliment to Arsenal that most people are going with an Arsenal win at Stamford Bridge in a London derby against a good Chelsea side, which just shows the high esteem with which everybody currently holds Arsenal in, rightly or wrongly. Andy Atherton, incredible work this week across your channels. I hope you and your family are well. Thanks for the brilliant content. Keeping that energy must be hard. Thank you very much, Andy. Really appreciate it. Always going to be a big day today. United at 12. Then this. I'd like to have done the Liverpool game. It was just impossible. It was impossible because I was literally starting the match reaction for United and Liverpool started. And then, yeah, it just didn't work because of timings, unfortunately. But we are okay and ready for this one. And I'm sure we'll get a match reaction on this one where we can talk about a couple of the other ones. But fortunately, if you're a Liverpool fan, there was no need to do a Liverpool in crisis video. I was that close. I was that close to... Jarbar Drink says, Mark's so quiet. Turn your volume up then, mate. I was that close to doing a Man City in crisis video yesterday afternoon. I was literally just getting ready. And then Phil Foden scored. How can Chelsea players do... how can Chelsea players, do you think, get into an Arsenal... How many Chelsea players get into an Arsenal-Chelsea combined 11, says Mangoes. Well, we're just about to start this game, so it's not necessarily the best time to do it. But you could, in the chat, tell us about what you think. I personally think you've got to put Caicedo in there. You don't put the goalkeeper in there. You arguably do put Cucurella in there. I think you've got to put Cucurella in there. Might be controversial because he's a bit of a shithouse, but, you know, he's the sort of player I'd put in. So Cucurella definitely goes in. Centre-backs wise, forget it. Right-back, forget it. Goalkeeper, forget it. Cucurella at left-back. Caicedo goes into the midfield with Rice and... either Cole Palmer, Eze or Odegaard. That's an interesting one. Front three, Saka off the right. I'd move Esteban to the left. And then up front, I'd probably... I like Gyökeres, so I think I would. You've got to put Saka in there, and I think you've got to put Esteban in there. Right, we're ready to go. Looking forward to this all week. Some of us longer than that. What an atmosphere, what a venue, what a time to play. And there we go. Right. Good game, no controversy. That's what I'm looking for. Please do share the video, by the way. We're nearly at 10,000. It'd be great to get up to that right at the start of the game. And thanks everyone who smashed a like on the video. Absolute legend. Timber is the world's best right back at the moment, says Sam. I don't know about that. I mean, I really do rate Hakimi, but Timber is the best right back in the Premier League, without doubt. But this is about statements today. If Chelsea win, it's a statement that they're a title contender. If Arsenal win, it's a statement that you start to look at it and go, okay, who's catching them? Where are the where are they going to drop the points? So maybe the draw just calms it all down, but there are two statement results in relation to if Chelsea win or Arsenal win. United win and Madueke and Odegaard or a watch. W, says Rajaf. Thank you very much for your super chats. I think I've read them all out. Yeah, thank you very much. Midfield battle's going to be key. It always annoys me how crap United's midfield is because you look at a game like this and you see the midfields of the two sides and you go, you know what, this is where this game's going to be won and lost. That's not a bad kick out by Raya, but Timber looking to exploit the gap. Goes all the way through to Sanchez. Hincapié looks a bit nervous, says Jay. Mate, they're basically making their debut as a 2 in a game that is huge. I like this. Unicorn Wolf says, I'm so nervous as a Chelsea fan. Cucurella's a little bit lucky there because he's definitely clattered Saka. You don't want to see a yellow card this early in a game. Hamburg have beaten Stuttgart 2-1. That's a great result. I do like Hamburg. I mean, I like Stuttgart, but that's a great result for Hamburg. Stuttgart have been in great form, and they were down to 10 men. So looking forward to that. How are you today, Mark? Says Will. I mean, honestly, it's a great thing when Man United win. I mean, I have massive concerns about them, but that was a good result. I mean, it's all the more frustrating with the loss to Everton, but I feel if we'd lost that game, we'd have been heading down a very familiar pathway again. So we've got to keep the season alive. I mean, look, if we don't get Europe, fine. I don't like it, but at least make it a viable option till April, you know? Do you see both teams scoring today, says Champs? Corner to Arsenal here early on. No, it wasn't a corner. It wasn't given. That's a nice ball into Reece James. Chelsea with a bit of space. I think both teams to score. It's weird. If we get one goal, I think we'll get two, yeah. It could be a 0-0. Hey, who says, as a United fan, every win is a relief, not a celebration. Yeah, and hopefully at some point it will change. But yeah, it is that like feeling at the moment, certainly, I think. Bit of a stop-start game here. Declan Rice getting in on Caicedo. He should get, again, he could have got booked for that, Caicedo. It's just a bit silly here. Chelsea obviously wanting to be aggressive, though, which I like, but just be a little bit careful with this referee because he's got to let it flow, and he might not let it flow. Has he booked Zubimendi? How is he booking Zubimendi and he didn't book Caicedo? I mean, this ref's a fucking idiot. Let the game flow. That's poor from the referee. I mean, it's just, you know what? I know it might be a minor thing for some people, but it's, I mean, some complete and utter idiot in the chat says clear yellow. Watch the fucking game, mate. If Caicedo literally pushes Moreno to the ground a couple of minutes, a few seconds before that, that's a yellow card. Let it go. It's a London derby. Cucurella takes out Saka. Let it go. It's a London derby. Zubimendi takes out a Chelsea player, yellow card. So we've now got a yellow card in the first 5 minutes. Contradictory because you've let 2 yellow cards go. So I'm sort of thinking, oh, we're going to have an interesting game here. We've got a referee that's letting things go. And then he decides, no, I'm going to contradict myself within a minute and actually book an Arsenal player for something I could have booked Chelsea players for twice that I ignored. And I know it's a yellow card, but it should have been a yellow card to Caicedo and Cucurella then. So either book them all or don't book them all. And this is the thing. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to manage games of football. They don't realise they're there to entertain us, keep players on the pitch, be consistent. Crap refereeing. United win and Madueke and Odegaard. Oh, we've done that one. Thank you very much. No, Avis, I'm not having this argument. I know it was a yellow card foul by Zubimendi, but you can't push somebody to the ground like Caicedo did and he let it go. You can't take Saka out like Cucurella did and he let it go. I'm not saying Zubimendi's foul isn't a yellow card. It clearly is. But there was 2 other ones where he didn't give the yellow card. So how is that fair? And how is that consistent? And now he's going to have to book a lot of players. He's going to have to book a lot of players now if he's going to be consistent. I mean, that's a foul by Caicedo and he hasn't given it. Or he has given it. I don't know. I hope we don't, what I'm trying to say is I hope we don't get red cards. I would rather he just let the game flow. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Chelsea definitely starting off aggressively, though. I like that. It brings intensity to a game. Looking to engage Arsenal. I'd put good money on Caicedo getting a yellow card, yeah. It's a good start to this game, though. I'm liking the, as I say, Chelsea bringing some intensity, not wanting to sit deep. Lots of teams do that against Arsenal. Saliba's injured, apparently, Daniel. Not on the bench, so must have picked something up against Bayern. Don't know the severity of it. This game was stop-start. He was sending a message to the players to stop committing silly fouls, says Guy. Anthony Taylor couldn't send a message with email, mate. I don't think he has a bloody clue about sending a message to keep the game flowing. I think you're definitely overestimating his football IQ there. I don't think the PGMOL referees give a shit about the game being stop-start. The more chance the cameras go on them. Champ says Paqueta needs to be investigated. He definitely wanted that yellow card, mate. I can't lie. Looking at it, he could have easily avoided it, and he definitely wanted it. Somebody said to me he was missing the Man United game anyway. With the first yellow card, he'd already collected enough. Das says, why is he benched Palmer? Probably because he's been out for 2 months, mate. Not really benching him. He's not fit. There's Calafiori bringing it forward. Timber's energy, strength, speed, centre of gravity is fantastic. Gyökeres is on the bench for the same reason as Palmer, just coming back from an injury. Saka into Cucurella. That's his second foul. Yeah, he's got to book him. Has to. It's a shame. And that's... Can I get an apology from everybody now? That's what happens now. You've given the yellow card to Zubimendi, so every foul now, you can't let it go. He actually ends up getting the ball, Cucurella, there as well. I mean, it's a foul. It is a foul. Definitely a foul, but it's not necessarily like, if you hadn't booked Zubimendi, you could probably keep that going. I think the odds on a red card in this game are nailed on at the moment. What a ball by Declan Rice, that is. Good recovery for Fana. Arsenal down the left-hand side, bit of space. Well across by Chalobah. Corner, throw in. This is a big one. Arteta's up. He's like this. He's running around. He's like this. You don't know what you're... He'll get Arteta yellow card as well. I'll have a bit of that. Does anybody actually bet on yellow cards and how many yellow cards there's going to be? I mean, I would say 6 or above. Because it's such an important game. You're going to get people flying in for tackle. Oh, Saka's got so much space. Good save with the feet. I don't think he was offside. I don't know why Chelsea were even contemplating offside, but this is lovely play by João Pedro. And that's going to be a yellow card as well. Oh, he's going to ruin this game. He's going to ruin this game. He's boxed himself into a corner early. Every tackle, he basically has to give a yellow card now. I told you, some of you just, I mean, I'd love to be able to demonstrate how to referee a big game, but that Zubimendi foul, he shouldn't have booked it. You got to understand it's Chelsea Arsenal. It's going to be intense, And he's basically boxing himself into a corner where every tackle now is going to be a yellow card. We're definitely going to get a red. They're all yellow cards. I'm not saying they're not, but as a referee, you can you can lift the barrier and say, you know, I'm actually going to be quite lenient to a certain point, but I'm not. But he hasn't. He's gone yellow, yellow, yellow. And he's stuck now. He's stuck. He's got to book every... He can't let him go, can he? I don't like watching games when somebody goes down to 10 men. I don't even like it when Man United play against 10 men. For obvious reasons. You saw it on Monday night. But the best football's played when there's 11 against 11. And you don't want to take the physicality out of the game as well. I mean, I know we love flair players, but I like a good aggressive game of football as well. Within the confines of the rules, of course. Good play by Esteban here. Into Reece James. I mean, is that... I think he'd have had to book Eze there for that. Ten against 10 would be good, but how do you get 2 red cards, you know? Archie, thank you very much for your super chat. Thanks everyone who's doing that. 13,000 of you watching. Please share the video, and we're very close to 1,000 likes as well. Thanks everyone tuning in. Saka, oh, I tell you what, so close to playing Martinelli in. I tell you what, I like this game. It's a good game. So many teams against Arsenal sit back. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, they're not going to do that. They're really trying to be aggressive and, you know, press. It will lead to fouls, but it will lead to mistakes like that. And Enzo gets it out wide to Esteban. This is where they can really hurt teams up against Hincapié. Good cross. Could be a goal for Neto. Great tackle. I think it was Declan Rice. Big tackle that was. Ref must have the over on how many cards will be had in this game, says Angel Rodriguez. Thank you very much. Howard Webb should watch the Bundesliga. This is just piss-taking to the fans in the game of football. Yeah, tune in on a Friday night. We have Bundesliga football. Great point made by Haaland there. The game flows so much better. So much better. And that's because of the officiating. I've got to say, I don't like Man City, but I don't like Liverpool. But over the last couple of years, I have held my hand up and said, Liverpool, they're a watchable team if you forget it's Liverpool. So I'm going to be brave here and just say it. I don't mind watching Man City this season. I don't. I think they're a far better team to watch this season than they've ever been under Pep. I think it's because they're a little bit more direct and a little bit less focused on possession. They're definitely easier on the eye. I still don't like them and I don't want them to win anything, but they're definitely more watchable. They should do a behind the scenes at the referee training academy. I bet it's like X Factor these days, says Nick. Well, we've had a good 16 minutes here. Misplaced pass. So much space out there. Yeah, Sunderland's win at Chelsea's got to go down as one of the... Well, it's like Forest at Anfield, wasn't it? What's been the best away performance of the season so far, results-wise? I think that Sunderland one was good. I would love to say Man United against Liverpool, but look, a lot of teams beat Liverpool and Forest's result was better. Lovely little flick into Esteban. Back into João Pedro. Cross is not good enough, but... Oh, Esteban! How, Esteban? How? Cross came in. Hincapié just got his foot on it, but it dropped in the penalty box onto the advancing Esteban, and he put it over the bar. Not easy. Not easy at all when you look at it back because Hincapié is flying in. Good player, isn't he? I think this hit Declan Rice's hand, didn't it? I think that's what they're saying. Neto. It's a great tackle on Neto. Yeah, you can't give a handball for that. Great. I'm really enjoying the game. Really enjoying it. I feel jealous of like Chelsea and Arsenal fans because I think in a game like this, it's so enormous. And both teams are playing with such intensity and you don't really know which way it's going to go. It's and we don't always get this in the Prem, so fair play. Good game so far. Esteval over the bar. You don't though, do you? I think sometimes you get Liverpool, Arsenal, or Man City, Liverpool, and it doesn't live up to it. But this is good. I predicted an Arsenal win, Jeff, but it's. I just realised I could decorate my tree whilst watching this game in the second half and save myself some time. Probably not the best thing to do. Nice ball into Calafiore. Martinelli. Subs could be very key in this game, yeah. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're only 100 subscribers away from 441,000. So thank you, everybody, for getting involved. That's a good interception. Chelsea looking to counter. Opportunities to counter are always a positive. What I would say is, look, Chelsea without Cole Palmer are weakened, and they've had some good results without him. And Arsenal without Gabriel and Saliba, you know, that's a big difference for them as well. Are you doing any watch-alongs for the midweek games, Daniel? Yeah, both nights. Yeah, we'll be live both nights. I'm loving the Prem at the moment. So, yeah. I think the great thing about the Premier League is what somebody said before. Every game week, there's 5 or 6 games that are really, you know, jeopardy games. Like looking at midweek, Brighton, Aston Villa. That's such a big game in relation to the league table. Scourge says, have you ever been offered any other Football League rights besides Bundesliga? Yep. Macedonian. No, we have, though. City are trying Semenyo, so him and Doku for wingers. Oh, Enzo Fernandez. Good tackle, but Timber. You don't want to be losing Timber. I think he's okay. I don't want to see Timber injured. I mean, he had that sort of injury start to his career at Arsenal, didn't he? And certainly the best right back in the Prem. You don't want to be seeing him getting injured for any period of time. Good play by Saka. Cucurella on a yellow is interesting. I mean, might not be the sort of game to do it, but traditionally you would be saying get the ball out to Saka, let him get up against Cucurella and try and work that yellow card. But I don't know whether football works like that anymore. I mean, I don't even know if Arteta would rather play against 11 men than 10. Because the way Chelsea are playing, there is space to exploit. Whereas if they go to 10 men, they're going to sit in, aren't they? Yeah, Louise says Arsenal are struggling in the final third. Gyökeres makes a big difference. Liveramento's better than Timber, says James. You are having a laugh. I like Livermento, but he's not better than Timber. Oh, Ezzy, that's a poor pass. Esteval overplays it into Gusto. Goal kick. So, thoughts on the first 22 minutes? I think it's flown by. I think it's It's a good advert for a good game. Thankfully, we haven't had a yellow card for a few minutes, and hopefully it stays like that. I do not want to see people being sent off. Man of the match prediction. I have never done man of the match predictions. Also, Man United lost to 11 men. Everton. No, 10. Scourge. He's offside there, ref. Linesman, put your flag up. He's not done it. Garnacho's on the bench, Ayush. I thought he might pick Garnacho today because of defensive work, but I think at home he's gone for a more attacking approach, which is good. Would you be nervous for Manchester United if they played against the Milton Keynes Dons as Angel? Should I be? Good header by Timber, Cucurella, Moreno. Sorry, Martinelli. Goal kick. Constantine, I don't know what you're talking about. There is no super chat about the United game. So, I'm sorry, pal. It can't be disrespectful when it's not even there. Maybe check before you start typing shit. Pickford was the 11th man, says Scourge Games. If we play like this with one gifted unnecessary ball loss after the other, we're going to lose against Chelsea, says AI Music Prompt. I've not been keeping an eye on the F1, Ashik. I feel like Chelsea is slightly on top at the moment. Not to the extent that they deserve to be in front, but I feel like they're slightly on top. That's my read of it at the moment. I do think Arsenal miss a focal point up front. Moreno does an okay job, and obviously it has worked in some games. However, I think they're a better team when they have a Gyökeres. Finn says another foul by Caicedo and still no foul. Well won back this by Reece James. Very energetic. That's going to be another yellow card. So Arsenal are on 3 yellow cards in the first 26 minutes. I mean, I think this is a yellow card, to be fair. Like, Reece James wins it. He's away from Calafiori. Yeah, that is a yellow card. And he kicks the ball away. So, I ain't got it. They're not all going to be not yellow cards. That is a yellow card. Like, I ain't got a problem with that one. But the referee's put himself in a position where he's sort of got to give a yellow card for everything now. Is there a game tomorrow night? I've not seen Bournemouth play this weekend, says the Hills. Bournemouth were 2-0 up away to Sunderland and lost 3-2. Lovely cross. Good header by Arsenal. Why is Spurs classed as top 6? Says Rasif. Traditional top 6. I think it was based on Premier League positioning, you know. Prestige Mind says Goldbridge to replace Amrim. He's won today. Give him a break. Give him a break. Footy says, who's your wish for a new midfield in January? You got to get realistic, mate. We're not going to get anybody like an Anderson or anything like that. So I think they've got to bring somebody in. Well played, Sanchez. Sweeper keeper. 'Cause, 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 'cause Yari says Spurs have actually been in Europe more than Arsenal in the last 20 years. I don't know whether that's true. Bruno glazing on his comments in Instagram is disgusting. Weak as fuck on the pitch. What does that? What do you mean, Liam? I don't know what that means. But I ain't got a problem with that. United players always do it. Doesn't matter whether they play well or not. If they win a game, they're straight on Instagram. Squidge says Taylor is the worst advertisement for refs in my opinion. Been a good first half an hour, but I'd like to see a goal. Not been many, I can't really think. I mean, Estevao chance was half a chance, really. But there's not really been a lot, has there? And there's the defensive mistake by Hincapié. Will Arsenal get away with it? They will. Made a mistake at the back and Chelsea didn't capitalise. They're still on the attack though. Good play by Enzo. That's a foul. that is a foul. And it should have been a yellow card for Timber because he definitely pulled him back. And I think this is where the referee, I predicted this. This is where they lose control. Because he's like, if I give that foul, I've got to book another player. And I've booked 4 already, and that's 5 in the first half an hour. But that was a foul on Enzo Fernandez by Timber. And how he decides it's not a foul, I don't know. But it was. But this is where, when a referee is booking so many players, he starts to do silly things. Because he's realising that I'm booking too many. They're a bit fortunate here. Hincapié, yeah, Pedro just doesn't get it out of his feet. Hey, it's Dan says, this is actually embarrassing as an Arsenal fan. Too much messing around in our own half, not good enough. I don't think Arsenal have played particularly well. As I say, I feel like Chelsea, without deserving to be in front, I think they're the better team at the moment. He's making it all up at the moment, Jordan says. Why isn't Man United showing this fight and spirit, says Now. I think it's a quality issue, isn't it? I mean, you look at the quality of these Chelsea and Arsenal sides, and love that by Calafiori. And Saka just can't quite play it in. Oh, here we go. Gusto. Estevao. Quick feet. Into Enzo. It's a shot. Chelsea just getting closer here. I'm a City fan, but I still enjoy That's Football, says Orge. Good. You're welcome. As I said, City are a lot better to watch this season. First time I've said that in years, but they are. I don't mind. I don't like City, but I don't mind watching them in the right circumstances. Chelsea need a goal now. This game could do with a goal, says TR. Been a cracking game so far, says OJ. I feel there's a Chelsea goal coming. No, that wasn't a foul. He's got that right. Good play by Timber. Into Saka. Cucurella. That's a foul. He's got to be really careful, Cucurella. That's not a second yellow for me. That is not a second yellow for me, but he's got to be careful. I knew someone would say it. Jeff's in there, red. No, I don't want to see a red card anyway, but I'm not saying that because I don't want to see a red card. For me, Cucurella's on his last warning. You know, I always think when you're on a yellow, your second one shouldn't be a soft yellow, and that would have been a really soft yellow. So I think Cucurella there, he's got to be allowed to make tackles, and Just because it's on a yellow card, just because he makes a foul, doesn't mean it should be another yellow card. Thoughts on Coventry, says Lee. Absolutely incredible. Brilliant what they're doing. Brilliant. It's a problem, though, for Chelsea. I mean, Arsenal always looking to get the ball into Saka. What you don't want with Saka, though, and that's a foul. Caicedo's going to try and turn it into himself being injured, but that's definitely a foul by Caicedo. Yeah, he's going to book him. He's going to book... I think he's going to book Caicedo here. Would you take Jordan Henderson at Man United, says Jay Woods? Honestly, Jordan Henderson, I can't believe I'm saying these words, would be an improvement on the midfield we have. Let's have a look at this foul. Oh my God. Caicedo there, that's bad. I don't know how he's claiming he's injured, because I think he's saying that because he knows he's done a foul. That's a bad foul by Caicedo. That's really bad. He's got to book him. I do wonder if there's a little bit of Caicedo there realising it's a bad foul, but he is actually hurt. I don't want a red. I don't want a red. Not in a game like this, but I'm just saying that was a bad foul. And for a moment, I did wonder if Caicedo had sort of stayed down on purpose so as not to get a booking. I mean, I think he's talking to VAR. He's definitely going to go into his pocket. Some people are saying a red. Yeah, yellow card. Yeah, I don't think you can say what's that all about, mate. You know exactly what it's all about. And another day, you could have got a red. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're going to VAR it. Oh, I don't want to see a red in this. That's not a red. That's not a red. We're watching it in slow-mo. Why are we watching it in slow motion again? He is going to send him off. Oh, he's going to send him off. 100% he's going to send him off. If I'm Howard Webb, I'm on my mobile phone now going, please don't fucking send him off. This has been a really good game. Don't send him off. Arsenal fans are saying send him off, but trust me, down to 10 men, it's not always a good game. He's going to send him off. 100%. Let's run a poll on this. But the thing is, we're watching it in slow motion. I never understand why we watch it in slow motion. He sent him off. Red card. I tweeted it way before I said, could that be a red card? Straight red for Caicedo. Is that a straight red for for Chelsea's title hopes? They've now got to go an hour. I mean, Arteta can barely contain his smile. I mean, you will be smiling. The question is, does it make the game better or worse for Arsenal? I mean, you can't, you know what? I don't think you can argue with it. I just think it's such a shame for the game. It was a good game. But I did say when I first saw it, yeah. 73% of you saying it's a red. I think there's a large part of me that just doesn't want to see a red card in a game that's played, you know, as a neutral. But I said it when I first saw it. He might be lucky not to get a red for that. And I mean, look, it doesn't massively matter to me, but I do feel sorry for Chelsea fans. You wait all week for this game and you never think about a red card. You don't. You think, can we beat Arsenal at Stamford Bridge? You don't think about a red card. And unfortunately, these things do happen and they can change a game. So Arsenal will be reverting back to normal weekends now, where they're going to be playing against the low block, looking to exploit it. And the job becomes doubly hard for Chelsea now. Although somebody did say 10 against 10, there are Arsenal players out there on a yellow. I mean, what's Chalobah doing here? There's a yellow card. Hincapié, is he off? Is he on a yellow? No, Mascara. No. I mean, Chelsea going to try and get everything now, but that is never a red. They'll try to balance this out. 3 players on a yellow for Arsenal. Arsenal red card incoming. Taylor enjoying this situation. Egotistical maniac, says Faris. The acting afterwards deserves a 3-match ban, says Mohammed. Look, as soon as I saw Caicedo go down injured afterwards, I thought that's a bad tackle, because we've seen so many players do that. When they commit a bad foul, they go down. Leg breaker, says Blake. Jack, I don't use hair dye. Thoughts on Vitex Bristol City, says Jeets. I don't know about Vitex Bristol City. It's slowed motion to see the actual tackle. I don't know why they do that, CR. I mean, look, in real time, it's still a red card, but I don't know why they slow it down. I think in that tackle, it doesn't make a massive amount of difference. But I have seen people get sent off on slow-mo. That one in real time is bad, and it's red. You know, let's be honest, it is a red. I just didn't want it to be. But I don't know why they show it in slow motion. Is it okay? It's okay. It can still be competitive, like United versus Everton, says Hamza. We're gonna have a very long first half here, aren't we? I mean, it has become very stop-start. I mean, I think Chalobah's hurt himself there, but you can't have, you know, not everything where you hurt yourself is a red card. Let's be honest. Wow, 17,000 of you tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Please do subscribe while we have this other stop-start game. Thank you very much. I don't know how Chelsea approach this now. I'm trying to think with Caicedo off. Do they need to make a substitution? What an opportunity for Arsenal, though. I mean, you're way out in front. You're the best team in the league. Really hard game of football. And the opposition have gone and got a man sent off. be a lot of possession for Arsenal now, but I mean, look, Arsenal are the masters at breaking down low blocks. It's a nice ball into Timber. Good defending. It's the dreaded corner here. We are in the 44th minute. However, there is going to be a lot more than that added on, but it's the dreaded corner here. And they've got to defend this. Let's see what happens with it. Feels like it's Arsenal's first corner of the game, but I don't think it is. Sure, Mosquera's been fouled there, but good claim by Sanchez. Now then, Neto, you've got to go direct here. You've got to move quickly. I think they've wasted the opportunity there. Look how quickly Arsenal have got numbers back. Angel Rodriguez says over 5.5 cards for the win. Have we had that now? Oh, here we go. Declan Rice, good tackle, but Arsenal not really committing numbers forward at the moment. Here's Eze. Now they do. Martinelli into Rice. Back to Martinelli. Good save, Sanchez. Did really well there. I don't know whether he made a meal of it, but it was a good save. Classic orange card on Caicedo. Can go either way, says Jonathan. 74% of you said it was a red. Thanks for your super chats today, by the way. Appreciate that. Reece James goes for a worldy shot, but a good block by Hincapie. Look, Chelsea got a hang in here. Keep it competitive, keep it intense, and remember that how many Arsenal players are on a yellow card at the moment? Obviously, we've lost Caicedo and Cucurella. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nearly half the Arsenal team on a yellow card at the moment. 2 of which are their centre-backs that they can't really substitute. So, you never know. It could change. How many red cards have Chelsea had this season, though? Trossard's injured, Elias. Nice ball into Moreno. Martinelli will have to chase that. Cucurella clears it, but not very well. Timber loses it. Mosquera does well enough for Rice to win it. Would hate to be Chelsea. 2 big games ruined, says Ojito. Well, look, Chelsea at Old Trafford. Sanchez sent off in the first 5 minutes. Ultimately, you lost the game. I think at that point against us, I'd say you probably would have beat us. I certainly think you might have got a draw. So, red cards are problematic. But I think up until the red card, Chelsea were shading it. I mean, I went with an Arsenal win, so. Chelsea might pull an Everton against Man United. Well, you never know. Another corner to Arsenal. They're starting to rack them up now. Chelsea defended the first corner really well. They were aggressive. They barged them off. And I think that's the way to be sometimes because Arsenal are aggressive on the attack. So they've obviously been working on this. And they're not naive to what needs to be done. Set Piece FC versus Red Card FC, says 60-second media. Sanchez punches that away. 5 minutes added on, by the way. Neto on the break, though. He's very direct and he's very quick. And it's interesting because he hasn't really made a change for another midfielder at the moment. Neto. Interesting cross. And they're still there. Gusto. No, he's overdone that. But Cucurella's on the back. He's got to be careful on that yellow card. Don't want to get another sending off. Well done, Saka. Hincape red card, says John. As I said, there is that opportunity with the number of yellow cards that Arsenal have. I want to see 10 against 10, says John. I mean, I think it would be a very good game. There's been a lot of space in the game anyway. Space invaders if it was 10 against 10. Chelsea could still win. They've done all right. They have done all right. I tell you what I don't like, these Chelsea players walking around up to players and pushing them like that. I mean, I know it's not the same as what Idrissa Gueye did on Monday, but you can't just walk up to players and shove them. 7 reds in 15 games for Chelsea, says Kian. Is there an indiscipline problem at Chelsea, or is it just bad luck? I think they're just aggressive. They're aggressive in the tackle, and I mean, look, the red card they got at Old Trafford, I think that can happen to anybody. The keeper makes a commitment to run for it, and Burma gets their first red card. Mascara's gone down now. Enzo can be aggressive, but I don't think that was deliberate. I feel like everyone underestimates Chelsea for some reason, says Moomin. Nah. I mean, he does catch him, but certainly wouldn't be given a red for that. Good point here from Charlie. He says Chelsea are used to playing with 10, to be fair. Well, they have had a lot of sending off, so yeah. Phil says Chelsea looked up to... we're at half-time. Half-time. There we go. So, give us your thoughts, everybody. We'll get the stats up. They're on the screen now, but I'll pause them. No, I won't, because I'm not ready. Yeah, give us your thoughts on that half. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, but there's so much more to it than that. I thought the first 25 minutes was, well, first half an hour. I thought it was a really good game. Really, really good intensity. Chelsea, I felt, were edging it, and that sort of still is represented by the stats. I mean, it's probably dropped in possession since the red card, but probably would have been about 50-50. Chelsea with 5 shots to Arsenal's 2. Arsenal have had more on target. Both Arsenal corners coming since the red card, definitely. And yeah, I mean, quite an equal game, and obviously it's going to fall towards Arsenal a little bit now. The red card, 74% of you said it was a red. I do agree. I just don't like to see red cards in a good game of football. And I don't understand why referees on VAR get shown the incident in slow motion. But even in normal, I think that's a red card. And I don't know. I mean, look, if Caicedo's genuinely trying to win the ball, then is it a red card? But I feel the way he's gone to tackle the ball, I don't think he has. So I think it probably was a red card. However, a red is not a red all the time, Care, because I think sometimes in games we should try to ultimately not follow the rule book all the time and remember that this is an entertainment sport and we should be trying to entertain. Now, not at the detriment of the opposition, but I think in games like this, Chelsea, Arsenal, if I was the referee, I would referee it in a slightly different way. I still think it's a red card. I think some of the yellow cards have been a bit soft, but, you know, Anthony Taylor's the referee and I think he's probably got the red card right. Joshua, I don't know why I'm being told to shut up, Mark. It's a red when I said it's a red. Get some fucking manners or do one. What are you talking about? I said it was a red. I mean, shut up, Mark. It's a red. I said it was a red. I just said I didn't want it to be a red because I felt that 11 against 11 is the better thing. So grow up. That's why you're not a referee, says Silent. Look, if you're an Arsenal fan bitching about the fact that you can't score against 10 men, why don't you jog off to AFTV and have a moan? It's not my problem, right? That's football. Everybody's welcome. I'd rather have 11 against 11, but I do think it was a red. And if you can't understand that, I can't help you, right? If you think Anthony Taylor's a good referee, definitely leave, because I'm not going to agree with you on that one. He's shite. He should have booked Timber for a foul on Enzo, but he didn't do it because he thought, oh, I've already given too many yellow cards. He's made some bad decisions. He's made some good decisions, but ultimately he's a crap referee and he always will be. But on the red card, he hasn't even seen it. It's VAR that's told him about that. So let's not pretend Anthony Taylor knows what he's on about. In the context of the game, I think it's been a good game. And I hope that Chelsea can continue to make a game of it, because it's a huge opportunity for Arsenal now in a game where maybe, as a couple of Arsenal fans have said, they looked a little bit tired. They do look a little bit off, Arsenal, compared to what they did against Bayern the other night. Is that because they're missing their two centre-backs? Is it because they don't really have a focal point up front? I think I'd certainly be looking to try and get Gyökeres on if he was fit. And I think from Chelsea's point of view, it would be good if they could keep Estevao, Neto and João Pedro on for the breakaways, because if I'm Maresca, I'm looking at the volume of yellow cards that Arsenal have, especially at centre-back, and I'm thinking, if we can defend well and find opportunities to put the ball into the channels, and we've got people like Estevao and Neto who can run at those defenders, we might get a second yellow card and then we're suddenly back in the game ourselves. So I don't feel like it's over yet, but it's a great opportunity for Arsenal. And as we said before the game, maybe that statement win for Chelsea isn't on the table at the moment. It doesn't mean it's permanently withdrawn, but maybe it's not on the table at the moment. For Arsenal, that statement win is certainly on the table. And when we talk about statement wins, look at that. That's as it stands if it's a draw. If Arsenal win, it's 32 points. It's a 7-point lead. And I'm not saying that's unobtainable, but it's significant. Look, I'm looking at Caicedo as he approaches this. No, I'm not saying it's not a red card even if he's trying to win the ball. I'm just wondering if he knew what he was doing or whether he was just late into the tackle. It probably doesn't matter. It is what it is. Give me your thoughts. So, yeah, obviously, if you've tuned in and not known the afternoon results, Forest lost to Brighton, which puts Brighton into 5th place. Villa beat Wolves at home 2-0. That puts them into 4th place. Manchester United beat Crystal Palace away. That puts them into 7th place. And Liverpool beat West Ham away, which puts them into 8th place. So it's so congested again. We're literally talking from 5th place to 10th place, 2 points. And from 10th place to, 2nd place, 6 points. So nobody can find any consistency this season. And I think that's making it very interesting, because as a Man United fan, I'm thinking, can we go and win the next 2 or 3 games? Because if we do, I think it puts us in the top 4. And I think everybody's in that position at the moment. Can you do a poll on Arsenal should have had a red, says Darren. For what? Arsenal are Arsenal, that's why Arsenal are top. They are considered. Why are we giving Arsenal a red card? I can discuss it, but I don't know what we're giving them a red card for. I can't remember a foul that would have been a yellow card for Arsenal. Darren. That was barely a foul on Moreno, says Rub. I feel like everyone underestimates Chelsea, says Moomin. Thank you very much. Hincape. That's not a red card. Look, I know Chalobah's going like that, and I can see a bump on his eye, but that's just 2 people going to contest their header, and he's caught him with his elbow in the face. Now, if he's gone like that in his elbow, I've seen some horrific ones. One that always comes to mind was John Fashanu on Gary Mabbott years ago. Literally went like that, and I think he shattered his cheekbone. But Nkape's going up for the ball and he's gone into Chalobah's face. It's not deliberate, it's not malicious, and it's not intent. So I don't feel that... Look, sometimes you can break somebody's leg and it not be a foul. Like, just because you do that doesn't mean it's a red card. I don't think that's a red card in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think that's a red card. Do you think Caicedo's was deliberate, says Sultan? I sort of do. I sort of do. Having seen it, I sort of do think, because he's going in with his studs showing, it's not really the way I would expect a player to tackle the ball. Because even if he gets the ball, that's not normally how you tackle. You know, you don't normally go and tackle and put your foot on the ball like that and stop it. Like, you'd normally use your side of your foot or the top of your foot. So I feel like I feel like when you raise your studs, you can raise your studs and win a tackle and it be fair. But I think he's sort of stamping into the tackle. So I think he knows what he's doing there. And I think that's why he stays down injured, because I think he knows what he's done. I'm not criticising Caicedo, by the way. In the heat of the moment, there's an opportunity to win the ball in an aggressive way, and that's what Chelsea have been doing all game. But I think he knows what he's doing, and I think they've got the right decision. It's just a shame. He shouldn't be stamping into a tackle, and I think he was stamping into a tackle. And it's a shame for Chelsea. I mean, I think Chelsea would probably look at this and go, we've had a lot of these red cards this season in pretty big games that have cost us points. But hi, Mark. Thanks for the amazing content, says Kitch. Love your passion and your take. As a Liverpool fan, what signs show that players are losing trust on the manager? Well, I think from Manchester United and Liverpool today, if they'd lost, I think that both managers are under huge pressure. But I think if you're a Liverpool fan, I watched a lot of the West Ham game, and there was a focus, a determination. It wasn't great, but it was a you know, they were definitely playing for the manager. And I think from Manchester United's point, in the first half you'd question it, but in the second half they did come out and show some intensity. So I think that, you know, both clubs today have shown that they've not given up on the manager. I think if the Liverpool players had given up on Arne Slot, you'd have lost that game today, because I think when players have given up on a manager and they sense they're maybe one result away from it happening, you wouldn't be surprised how many of those games get lost. I mean, I've seen it with United quite multiple times as well. I mean, the next managerial sacking in the Premier League would be quite interesting. It could be Farke at Leeds, because I think Leeds were going to do it in the summer, and Leeds and Burnley look to me like teams that are going to get relegated. I don't believe Thomas Frank should be getting sacked. I really don't. I think the job, I was never convinced by the Europa League win. We were dreadful and we got to the final. Spurs were even worse and they got to the final. And then we were both dreadful and they won the game. So I think Spurs are coming from a very long way down. They finished really low in the league and they're not very good. They're in the Champions League because of a Europa League win. And I think it's a huge job for Thomas Frank. And the mentality of that club is really low. So I'd be disappointed if Spurs were looking to sack Thomas Frank, because I don't think the manager changes that. I think there's a lot more to change. Yeah, so if I was picking the next managerial sacking, and I'd say, I just feel like the Leeds manager might be going, from what I've been seeing online. The red was also encouraged by Caicedo committing multiple yellow card offences beforehand, says Mohammed. Thank you very much for that. And Steve says, if Moreno has his weight fully on his left foot, he's getting a broken ankle there, says Steve. Poll on Timber second yellow, says Nike. What would that have been for? Is that the one where it was on Enzo? Now, you make a good point here. When did Timber get his first yellow? Because has he even had a yellow? I know what you're talking about. There was definitely a foul on Enzo, and it was definitely a foul. And if you're being consistent, you could have given a yellow. But I don't think he's had a yellow. He hasn't got a yellow. So there you go. Also, I think if you're on a yellow card, just because just because they do a foul doesn't mean you. I've always been a firm believer that if a player's on a yellow card, I'm not sending them off for a soft second yellow. So, like a soft yellow for like a tackle or a shoulder barge. If they're on a yellow card, I'm not giving them a bloody red for that. I almost feel like it's got to be a really bad tackle to get the second yellow, or you give them a warning, The first, Cucurella's made a few fouls as well. Look, I think the referee made a rod for his own back in booking so many players. Fortunately, we've not had a red card because of that. We've had a red card because of a silly tackle from Caicedo. But it doesn't mean we're not going to get a second yellow for Arsenal, because as you can see, they have got a few, but Timber doesn't have one. The first half should be proof that Arsenal can be dealt with. They will mess it up in January, says Sap. And thank you very much for you. Repeat of the epic F1 watch-along from 2021, says Anthony. And your 3... I'm not reading that, my chill. I don't know what that is. The red was also... I've done that one, thank you. Getting a bit of a tickly throat here. Right, the players are coming out for the second half. Thank you very much. I feel like I'm getting another cold. My daughter's got a really bad cold. I like the winter, but I hate the way colds go round. So Lewis Skelly is coming on for Arsenal here. And somebody said to me that Garnacho's coming on. I don't know how accurate that is. Probably gives them more defensive capability, but I'm not sure whether it's the right thing to do or not. What do I think about the Premier League action this weekend? Harry, I actually think it's been a really good weekend for the Prem. Garnacho is coming on. Remember Suarez biting players, says Darren. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, just while we're waiting for the second half to start. Very close to 441,000. We're only 10 away. Thank you very much for that. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Manscaped on the stream today. You can get an incredible 25% off all their products with the code FOOTY before December the 4th. After December the 4th, it's back to a 15% discount with the code FOOTY. You can still use it after December the 4th, but up until December the 4th, which is 4 days from today, you can get 25% off with the code FOOTY. Link in the description or scan the QR code. Remember what Manscaped is. It's precision engineering for your family jewels. Down there. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. But also, they've got all sorts of male grooming tools as well. And 25% for you. About ready to go. And that's the second half. Well, look, Chelsea, in these circumstances, if they could win the game, it would be remarkable. If they can get a draw, which I don't think is unachievable, even better. And what I like, another player down here, Hincapié. They're trying to get him sent off. I don't blame Chelsea doing this. They are trying to do it. They're trying their best to do it. But look, he only needs a yellow on this one. Nah. That's not a second yellow. If you're Chelsea, Maresca at half-time, I'm saying keep the intensity up, make them make tackles, move the ball quickly, and any contact, let's try and manipulate the referee a little bit. Now, people say that that's cheating. Have you ever played football in your life? I mean, look, they're down to 10 men. It's an important game. They've got to try and utilise the dark arts. And, you know, João Pedro has been hurt there. Give it a go. Come on, Chelsea. Reece James, Wildy incoming. Thanks for all the laughs throughout the years, Mark. Love your commentary. And Arsenal fans can shut the fuck up, says Kenny. Thank you very much, everybody who's getting involved. Legends. Appreciate all the super chats. Everyone who's subscribed. And a big week on That's Football as well. We've got we've got a bonus Premier League predictions with me and Robbie going up tomorrow, reacting to the weekend, and then Oh, nearly a goal on the back post for Chelsea there. I don't know what Arsenal's legendary defence was doing there, but right on the back post. A Chelsea player's there and a good save by Raya. And Mascara losing his man. And yeah, we've got midweek Premier League games. So a bonus Premier League predictions tomorrow and then bonus watch-alongs Tuesday, Wednesday. William's convinced we're going to get a 10v10. We're going to get a Chelsea goal! We're going to get a Chelsea goal! Right from the corner! It's Everton and Old Trafford all over again! 0-0 with 10 men. 1-0 with 10 men. And it's Chelsea! And it's Chalobah! And it's Chelsea! And it's 1-0! And it's Chalobah! And it's Chelsea! Oh my God! Second time in a week. 10 men in blue are winning against 11. And Arteta can't speak. I can't speak. I can't speak. I can't believe this. 1-0 Chelsea. Scenes here. And Arsenal, well, I tell you what, this would be an incredible result. Scenes here. It's incredible. It's a cross and it's a corner as well. Brilliant header by Chalobah. What a header. I mean, we waxed lyrical about Arsenal's corners. And they've just gone and conceded from an absolutely brilliant one. The way he flicks that in. Game on! Game on! Share the video. We're in for a cracker here. Let's get up to 20k. This is going to be an amazing second half. 1-0 to Chelsea. Still the better team with 10 men. Incredible scenes here. Sapia says, we need to force them into a red. 10v10 we win, says Pete. You're winning anyway. You're winning anyway, Pete. It's a brilliant corner as well. And you do wonder, though, I'm not taking anything away from Hincapié and Mascara, but you do wonder, Saliba and Gabriel, does that happen? Gabriel is so good at defending them. But look, that's the way it goes. Arsenal under genuine pressure for the first time this season, I would say. Because they're expected to win. They're playing against 10 men. It's opened up for them. Look, if this was 11 against 11 and Chelsea went 1-0 up, you'd go, look, this is a challenge for Arsenal. Can they react to it? But 0-0 against 10 men and you go 1-0 down, that's wandering into bottler territory. So it's a big test for Arsenal. There's a long way to go. You've got 40 minutes. But here's Saka. Why is he shooting from there? I don't know. Massively deserved, says Aku. Thank you very much. Oh, no, I agree. I don't know what I was done to deserve anything. Well, how quickly does... That looked like it was a corner to me. How quickly does Arsenal react to this tactically? There are options on the bench. Lewis Skelly has already come on, which was obviously a tactical shift. Lewis Skelly came on for Calafiori at left back, which I thought Calafiori was playing quite well, but maybe that's because there was a volume of yellow cards on and Lewis Skelly can be more attacking. But I think he's got to try and get Gyökeres on. And potentially Madueke as well, because they've got to attack here. I feel like even a draw at this point, if you're a Man City fan or a Chelsea fan, maybe you're going to look for the win, but you know it's going to be a battle. But if you're a Man City fan, you're probably looking at this saying a draw is a good result. I just feel we're in for a very exciting second half here. And well, what if Arsenal get the second yellow card trying to be on the front foot as well? It changes the game completely. I think Chelsea are used to playing with 10 men, says Orge. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the one advantage, having a lot of players sent off. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please do share the video. Nice ball out wide. Saka on the edge. He's going to... No, he's got to get... I think Saka there... There's There's Martin. Just look at Martinelli on the back post if you can see it. You're playing against 10 men. Chelsea doing fantastically well. But I'm telling you now, there's always a switch. Because when you're playing as 10 men, you tend to cover the spaces closest to the ball. And you leave the long ball on. And Martinelli's available. Enzo's gone down here with a little bit of a... He's trying to say an elbow. Come on. We can't do this every couple of minutes, mate. You need the clock to go down. You go down a lot, there's going to be a lot of added time. You're winning 1-0. It's United all over again, says I Swallow. In fairness to Arsenal, they have dealt with every challenge so far. Sunderland was a difficult game and they did get a draw out of it. Bayern the other night. Saka into Timber. Interesting cross, but Sanchez is there. And I think Lewis Skelly could be getting himself booked within 5 minutes of coming on. Yep. So you replace a yellow-carded player, and then the new player comes on and gets booked straight away, and now is a problem as the other player. So, and that is a yellow card, to be fair. He's bumped off Reece James. Not in the literal sense. He's bumped him off in relation to the footballing sense. And he's yellow carded. Maybe Arsenal are tired, says Zakaria. I don't know whether it's tired because Chelsea had a game against Barcelona. João Pedro's coming off here, and Liam Delap is coming on. I mean, that's a huge show of faith in Liam Delap in a game like this. Aggressive, though. We've seen that from Liam Delap. He can be aggressive. Is that to try and unsettle these two centre-backs on a yellow card? Timber. Rice. What the hell is that? Although, it is in play. Martinelli. Neto does well. And a break. Reece James. Interesting ball. Out wide to Neto. He's up against Rice, but Timber's going to cover him off. And Rice does well. I mean, Chelsea probably wouldn't be the same if it was at the Emirates. Maybe the home crowd helps. But Chelsea's still a very viable attacking side, even with 10 men. Another corner to Chelsea. They deal with it this time, Arsenal. I mean, I laugh at this stuff. Randy says, if Arsenal lose, then United are only 8 points off the top. Mate, if you think Man United are in a title challenge, you clearly didn't watch us today. I mean, take the 3 points, but we are playing some of the shittest football I've seen us play. Reece James showing Timber levels, best right back in the world, but he's not playing at right back. I mean, I want to give Reece James his credit, but he doesn't play at right back, so... We can't say that Reece James is the best right back in the world because he's not playing at right back. Odegaard and Madueke coming on against his former club. Do they boo him? Chelsea wanted him to go. Martinelli was obviously going to come off. I think he might take Eze off, you know. And Zubimendi more attacking than that. Eze stays on. Oh, he's taking the captain's armband as well. I wonder if Gyökeres just isn't quite ready then. Arteta's going all out, says Dylan. Look, we watched Man United against Everton on Monday night on the United stand, and Amrim just didn't react. He didn't change his back three. He kept with the three centre-backs. He was very slow to change anything. And whatever happens in this game, Arteta has made 2 subs before an hour on the understanding that, you know, you can't wait too long. You've got to try and make changes. And it's not like Arsenal have been playing well either. It'd be great. It'd be absolutely brilliant if Chelsea could get a result though, because I mean I hated the Everton result, but I just think if 10 men can beat 11, it hopefully makes teams in the future don't feel like it's over if you get someone sent off. M. Parker, thanks for your super chat. He says, what is Amrim's record really? I mean, Sporting is in the Champions League and currently second, lost only 1 game. My cousin could win that league. Well, not necessarily. Benfica are in that league as well. Porto, it's not always a given. Lovely play by Saka. Interesting cross. Goal. What a goal. What a goal. Moreno with it. And that's the quality of the cross there from Saka. No doubt about it. And suddenly the extra man counted. But what a cross by Saka that is. People have a pop at Saka, but the numbers he puts in, it's incredible. It really is. It's curling towards. And I think the centre-backs of Chelsea have been pulled out of position here because Gusto's in a horrible position. Why Gusto is left with 2 players there. And I don't know whether we're blaming Fofana. I don't know whether it's down to 10 men. I don't know whether Sanchez needs to come for that. That's why, for me, I'm just going to side on the position of it being an absolutely worldy of a cross by Saka because you can't defend that. Gusto can't defend it. You've got 2 players on him. I think that might be a little bit of maybe the keeper could have anticipated it. Maybe Fofana's been pulled out of position a little bit. But predominantly, the cross is very good and they're down to 10 men. So we're game on here. Still half an hour to go. Arsenal a step closer to the opportunity that Caicedo red card has given them. But don't give up on Chelsea yet. They ain't giving up on themselves. Here's Enzo. I do feel like, and I think this is an interesting question, who do you think is the most intense team in the Premier League? I know a lot of people say Sunderland are, but I do think Chelsea have incredible intensity to their game that means that even with 10 men, they're still in it. I don't think we'll see Cole Palmer. I don't know what Liam Delap was doing there. I mean, fell over on his own bloody pass. Madueke and Odegaard, yes, we are about witness beautiful and mesmerising aura. The football these guys play is so good to watch, says Rajaf. What's your obsession with Madueke and Odegaard? I mean, that's a couple of players I wouldn't have thought we'd be reading out, but you have said it twice. Garnacho is crap. I mean, that was a bit of a weird substitution. I mean, look, I can only speak from my Man United days, but if Man United were down to 10 men, I wouldn't be bringing Garnacho on at half time. I don't think he was a particularly good defensive winger at Man United. Obviously, he probably offers you a little bit more than Esteval, but... Mark, look at Ajax, CDM. Yeah, I'm not reading that, Zai. Here we are with Neto. You got to run at him, mate. You got to run at him. He's on a yellow. Timed it well there, Hincapié. Bit of a narce. Bit of a knobhead there, though. Bit of a knobhead, but it is a London derby. It's good to see. Good to see the intensity in the rivalry. And the corner for Chelsea, though. 2 crosses already. And I don't know what's going on here, but Odegaard's down. Prof makes a great point. He says a Madueke winner would make for countless head loss. Rajaf says, I like Odegaard and Madueke because the eye test, you know all about it. Right, retaking this corner. Steve says, Chelsea bought crap strikers. They should have bought Isak or Valtameda. And Cucurella with the header there, but nothing comes from it. Very quick kick there from a goal kick by Raya. I mean, we don't normally see that, do we? I mean, they were really quick. Do you think Arsenal will do them now? Adams thinks so. Adam Greenfield says, I think Arsenal will do them now. The logical assumption is they will, because they are top of the league and playing for half an hour with an extra man. I think Chelsea have given themselves a bit of breathing space scoring that goal. Cole Palmer's not playing, Junior, because he's only just come back from injury, so I don't think he's played for a couple of months. I don't think you'd be throwing him on in a game like this unless they're losing. I don't think it's... you know, if you're going to come on in a game like this, you need to be match sharp because you're going to have to do a lot of running. Here's Garnacho. Retains the possession. If Arsenal win today, is the title race over, says Zero? I don't really think so, because Manchester City and Chelsea are capable of keeping it. I think if you can keep the gap to 7 or 8 points between now and January. Obviously, Arsenal have got to go to the Etihad. I mean, Arsenal, the Emirates, yeah, the Etihad. Arsenal are very, very big favourites, of course, but if they win this game. However, Eze, oh, good defending. I don't believe that. Got a good, got to switch that. Garnacho should have switched that years ago. Now he does. And it's a bad pass. But Neto will still get there. Back post cross, Delap. Delap isn't a good substitute. I think it was a big show of faith to put Delap into this game. I feel that João Pedro technically a better player. I don't know what that is by Lewis Skelly. That's got to be one of the worst clearances ever. I don't even know what he was doing there, but it works out okay. Chelsea is a very emotional team, and that has clearly hurt them this game, says Colin. They're still a young team, Chelsea. I mean, the idea for Chelsea is that in 2 or 3 years, all these inexperienced prospects become senior pros, and they dominate the scene. Now, whether that happens or not remains to be seen, but good play by Reece James, but that clearance by Lewis Skelly was a little bit weird. You'd take a point if you're Chelsea, though, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Odegaard. Lewis Skelly. Madueke. Terrible ball. Odegaard wins it back. Madueke again losing it. Lovely ball by Declan Rice. Moreno. Competitive out there. Do you think Arsenal are the favourites to win both the Premier League and the Champions League this season, says David? I think what this game has shown us is that you can cause Arsenal problems. I mean, I have been very impressed with 11 and 10 men, how Chelsea have been really competitive against Arsenal. Now, obviously, Arsenal have got a couple of players missing, but that you're going to expect that. Chelsea don't have Cole Palmer. So, arguably, Arsenal are the favourites for the Champions League as long as the Premier League, but I think it's very difficult to go and do both. But I'd say they are favourites for both, David. But I'm not thinking they'll do both. I think when you get to the knockout stages of the Champions League in March and April, I mean, if you get the Premier League wrapped up early, but I think it's hard to win both, especially for a team that's never won the Champions League. That's a huge cross to bear. Off topic, will Ange or Ten Hag get a job first? As who to blame? Moreno, corner, Arsenal. I don't think either of them are going to get big jobs. So Zero says, as an Arsenal fan, I don't think we'll win the Champions League, but the Premier League is a shout. As I said at the start of the stream, Arsenal last season wouldn't be as far away in the league as they are now. I think it's their incredibly impressive summer transfer window that's helped them out, because Saliba, Gabriel, Odegaard, Saka, they've all had Havertz. They've all had injuries this season that last season they'd been major injuries, but because they've got Hincapié, Mosquera and Madueke and Eze, that they've been able to carry those injuries and still pick up results. Here's Garnacho into the box. This would make him a hero. No, he's not going to be a hero now. Cucurella, though. Little dinky cross. Neto got the header, but couldn't get the power on it. The difference, Saka shoots over the bar. Default 66 says, the difference in tactical awareness from these managers compared to Amram is huge. Do you think Amram would even be good enough for the Championship? We've won today. We'll talk about it at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. Do you think Chelsea top 4 will be a good season, says Toby. Here he comes, Gyökeres. And it's for Eze. So Arteta obviously wanting to keep Moreno on. Tough game for Eze today. Tough game for Eze. Never really got into it, has he? He's had a really good few weeks, but Gyökeres back up front gives them a little bit of physicality and a little bit of a spearhead for the last 20 minutes. LMAO says, for Eze, surely it should be for Moreno. Well, as I said straight away, he obviously is impressed with the performance of Moreno and has kept him on. Now then, can Chelsea hold this out? Could they even do better? Moreno's good in the air as well, says Nay. Yeah, I think it's a bit like Casemiro in the Man United midfield. He's so good in the air, and set pieces are so important that... I mean, I'm not saying that Ugarte or Menu are better than Casemiro. I mean, it's not like Casemiro's brilliant, but from set pieces, he does get his head on the end of things. Madueke, it's a decent cross, to be fair, and it's good defended by Cucurella. Declan Rice, interesting ball into Saka. Ooh, for a minute there, they were queuing up. Caicedo got sent off for Chelsea, Carl. Yeah, I will be doing a match reaction for this game. Please do subscribe. Thank you, everybody. I'm starting to feel tired now. Well, I'm not tired in the sense of the game. I was up quite late last night. Party, red wine, fatigue. Last 13 games, all competitions, no defeats. Arsenal. Saka, he's going to cross that. No, he's not. What was he doing? I think sometimes Saka does hold on to the ball a little bit too long. It's almost like I'm an amazing player. I've got to do something a little bit more. Whereas sometimes I think just put the cross in early. You've got an amazing cross. How do I think the game's going to go? Prediction? I would say Arsenal, winner. But you can't rule Chelsea out scoring themselves. I think it becomes harder for them to be so intense in the last 15 minutes. Odegaard's got a bit of space down the right-hand side here. Nice little magician, Odegaard. Can become very important in these last few moments, but Chelsea looking to break here. Chalobah, don't know what that pass was, but Garnacho wanted it to feet. Later or ale, Mark, says Ledley. I think you mean lager or ale. I do like a nice crisp lager. If City win the league, will it say more about Arsenal bottling or a City revival, says Jack? I mean, it's too early to say that. Like, it's too early to say that because it's a 7-point gap. Or is it a 5-point gap at the moment? And if Arsenal were to lose, at the Etihad, it's only a 2-point gap, isn't it? So I don't think we're talking... Arsenal's lead at the moment isn't sufficient that you'd say it was a bottle job. Lovely ball. Lovely ball. Timber's going to cut that back. Good defending by Fofana. And it's a goal kick as well. Fun fact, that was Saka's first Premier League assist in 365 days. Really? I don't think Fofana actually knew a lot about that tackle because he's turned his back on it, which is never a good thing to do, but he did the job. Sipping 999 says Arsenal's downfall starts here. I mean, I think you should be more comfortable saying that in 20 minutes. Brahim says we need Gittins. That was a foul by Timber, to be fair, on Garnacho. It's amazing how many areas of the pitch now are deemed as a set-piece place. I mean, look, long throw-ins. This is like halfway in the half on the far left-hand side. I mean, normally that'd just be a 5-yard pass and play, wouldn't it? But here we go. They're going to whip a cross in. It's a good cross. Second ball. Arsenal do clear it. Cucurella into Delap. Goes for the shot. Oh, good shot. Good save. Raya. Saturday Social said, Eze better than Palmer. Do you agree, says Elliot? No. No. I mean, look, on form at the moment, Palmer's not played for 2 months. Here's Saka. Again, I think he's starting to frustrate Saka here. He's been a little bit over the top. Enzo and Raya having a bit of a go. This has got a draw written all over it, says Nitro. Tempers are flaring here. Saka has been a bit greedy in this half, but then it was a brilliant cross. Look, we said at the start of the game, Arsenal getting a point at Stamford Bridge isn't necessarily a terrible point. In the circumstances, people will say, well, it was 10 men. But as I said when it happened, like, I don't necessarily think look, I know United lost to 10 men Everton, but you sometimes the brain plays tricks and you think sometimes you're better off playing against 11 than 10 because teams are more open. Be a great point for Chelsea. But what I'm saying is it might not necessarily be a bad point for Arsenal. People will make a big thing that it was against 10 men, but how many times have we seen 10 men organise themselves really well? Chelsea certainly wouldn't have played like this if they'd kept 11 on. They'd have been more expansive like they were. And maybe Arsenal could have countered. They can't counter against this. I'm starving. I don't know what I'm having for tea tonight. I really don't. I'm on United stand at 8. Been a bit stop-start this game. Do I like cheesecake, says Nasha. I love it. I do like cheesecake. I don't know why. I feel it's a bit stodgy, but I do like cheesecake. I'll tell you what I do like as well. Made me think of it the other day. Pumpkin pie. Both right backs have been amazing today. Are we talking about Gusto and Timber? Because if you're talking about Reece James, he's not a right back. Reece James has played very well. Very, 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 very well. I'm really pleased that Reece James has managed to stay fit as well. There was a time last season where I thought it was getting to the point that I think he was just basically not going to be able to play consistently. Something strange has happened around Reece James, Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. Obviously it's coincidence, but all English, all decent players when they're fit, and all had massive injury problems, and all, at the moment, touch wood, having a really unprecedented run of fitness. Eight minutes to go, Chelsea fans. 8 minutes to go, Liverpool fans. Arsenal fans, sorry. And Liverpool fans, if you're watching. Arsenal are a filthy side, says Rub. I've seen a lot of people saying Chelsea are a dirty side as well. So I think both have given it. There's Liam Delap look there, as always. He likes to leave his feet in. James is better at centre midfield than Rice, says Sapien. I don't know who he's joking there. He's done some laughy faces. But thanks for the super chats today. Really appreciate it. Dan Brown says, chippy, Indian or Chinese. I'd eat any of them tonight. I really would. I'm very hungry. I'd homemade sausage McMuffins for breakfast today. You can buy these from Tesco. You can buy these sausage-like McMuffin sausage burger things. Then add like some muffins, egg. It was lovely. Good play. That's gone out. That's a goal kick. Leeds against Chelsea will be a dirty one. Yeah, let me just talk to you about the week, because it is normally it's Premier League predictions with me and Robbie on a Friday, but you've got one tomorrow, because we'll be reacting to this weekend and then predicting for the midweek games. So you've got one of those coming in tomorrow as well. Tuesday night, we've got only 3 Premier League games, but Newcastle Spurs is the big one. Starts at 8:15, but Manchester City and Fulham and Bournemouth Everton start at 7:30. So we will be live for those. Monday, nothing. Wednesday, it's we're focusing in on Wednesday's games, and there's some crackers. Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa, Leeds, Chelsea at 8:15, and Liverpool, Sunderland at 8:15. So, yeah, we'll be live for both nights, and then obviously Thursday night, United complete it against West Ham. We'll be on United Stand for that. Croissants or bagels? Bagels. I'm not going to jinx anything, but I think Chelsea are doing really well at the moment, and there isn't long left. I don't think Arsenal have had enough answers. I think Chelsea have done fantastically well to keep their intensity going. Great tackle by Rice. They've got to be careful now, Chelsea. Odegaard into Skelly. It's not good enough. It's a great tackle by Gusto. And look at the pace of Neto here. And he can use Gusto if he wants, and he does. That's got to go back post. And it's not good enough. What do I think about Sunderland, says Daniel? I think they're absolutely incredible. I think it'll be an interesting game against Liverpool on Wednesday, because you'd expect a Liverpool win. But Sunderland ain't a relegation team, so it could be an interesting game. Why are the games midweek this week, says Rayan? I can't remember how many midweek fixtures we get with the Premier League, but I love midweek Premier League games. And I think this is the first one of the season, isn't it? Odegaard, watch that back post. Sanchez is there that time. 4 minutes of normal time. Reece James, man of the match, says William. Neto up against Hincapié. Worth a shot. Arsenal fan channel says, get Saka off. Well, he did get you the assist, mate. And I'm not sure there's really anybody on the bench you could bring on. There's always there is always an early December midweek fixture, because it used to be Amazon, didn't it? Nice play by Odegaard. Timber. Moreno. Surely not. Oh, big save. And I think Gyökeres has got every right to go for that. I think he's got every right to go for that. Come on. Let's not be silly about this. I completely agree that he's probably injured himself, but yellow card. I don't even know if that's a yellow card. I think he's got to go for that. Like, Sanchez spills it. He's got to go for it. He can only go with his feet. Let's have a look. It's a good cross by Timber. Moreno shoots. Good save by Sanchez. Yeah, I think he's got to go for that, hasn't he? You've got to go for that. It's loose. Could win the game. Definitely a foul. Give a yellow card. Move it on. Good play. He's had a good game as well. I've doubted Sanchez for a long time at Chelsea, but in recent weeks, I think he's been quite steady. Don't know what your thoughts are, Chelsea. I'm not even sure it's a yellow card, but I mean, whatever. Give him a yellow card. It's certainly not a bloody red. How many minutes do you think he's going to add on? 10. I think he'll add a few on. Yeah, I do. I think we could see a few added on here. We've had a lot of stoppages. $89 in 30 seconds. Another player down in the centre circle for Chelsea now. It's been so... We just can't... Neto, I mean, maybe he's actually injured, to be fair, but... The thing is, if you're a Chelsea player, you're eating into your own time now, aren't you? Because he'll just add it on, and, you know... Yeah, he did just get caught, didn't he? It's been a battle out there. Send Gyökeres off, says Rub. I can't read what else he said. Only 4 minutes? How's he got only 4 minutes? What the hell? I can't believe it. I'm absolutely stunned by that. 4 minutes. I mean, that's good for Chelsea, but I don't know where... How has he got 4 minutes? We've had... multiple substitutes and multiple stoppers. I mean, the mind boggles. It really does. It really does. I do not know what that is all about at all. I mean, I don't know whether that's a good thing for Chelsea. I presume it is. It's not a good thing for Arsenal, is it? But they're on the attack here. Only takes a minute. Takes less than a minute to score a goal. Nkape. Interesting cross. Saka cleared away. Good defending. And it's offside anyway. So Chelsea are about 3 minutes out from a very good point here. I will do a quick match reaction, yeah. I think I've said that before. Look, I said at the start of the game, the draw was probably the value. But it's certainly not been played out like the draw many of us probably would have thought it would be if it was a draw. I don't think Arsenal have done enough to win it. And I think when you're down to 10 men, you're never going to expect to say that you've done enough to win it either. So it's arguably the right result. If that happens, I don't want to jinx this for either side, but I feel like the draw is the right result. I mean, you can dissect it and say whether that's good enough or not. But in the circumstances, when you consider Caicedo was sent off a long time ago, for Chelsea to take the lead and take a point would be, I would say, a good result. Madueke, there's still 50 seconds here. Hincapié, little dink. Oh my God, I genuinely think Timbers just took it off the head of Gyökeres. Saka, little dink. And over the bar, and that's it. Moreno. I think Timber tries to head this, and he couldn't. And I think he takes it off Gyökeres' head. Watch this from Hincapié. I think Gyökeres is about to score that. Yeah. To be fair to Timber, I don't think he would know that, and he's obviously backing himself to score. Well, look, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching it with you this afternoon. I mean, we've had better games, but I wouldn't say this was a bad game. We've certainly had a lot worse. So, thoroughly enjoyed it. Fair play, 1-1. I'm sure Chelsea fans are going to come out that feeling better. Arsenal fans, well, let us know on the match reaction. I'm going to go and record it now. But is it the beginning of an Arsenal wobble? It's not the end of Chelsea's hopes, let's put it that way. They've worked really hard for that. They are going to be without Caicedo for a couple of games, aren't they? I mean, Cole Palmer comes back, Caicedo goes out. But it's a squad game. It's a squad game. Right, I'm going to go and record the match reaction. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm live on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Thanks everybody for tuning in this afternoon as per usual. Absolutely incredible. And great game of football. Really enjoyed it. Don't forget the Manscaped 25% off. Link in the description. Or scan the QR code. I'll speak to you in a bit.